That's the second funniest thing I've ever seen him do on stage. The funniest was at Fall Fun Fest this year, whenever he was saying the prayer to start it, and his microphone went out.
Oh.
So his microphone went out. He waited a minute, just looked out at everybody in the middle of the prayer and went, "Amen." That was it. Everybody in the crowd started dying laughing.
See, these are the things we need to put on the show.
There's things you just
can
don't
revisit them.
You don't think, you just say them.
Yeah.
Recreate.
Sizzle reel.
Welcome to another episode of Behind the Scenes with Cookeville Lifestyle. This week we are so honored to have Mr. Mayor and one of our cover models, Randy Porter, as our guest. Thank you for being here, Randy.
Oh, absolutely, Chelsea. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, I mean, we did a trade. I did his show, and I learned how you should actually properly do a show, and then now he's on my show, and I'm going to take those tips and build off them.
Oh, thank you.
No, but Randy has been doing his own show today in Putnam County for, you said
I'm on my
7th?
7th year, yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, I never thought I'd be doing a radio show. I have the face for radio. Is that what you
Me
say?
too.
No.
Me too. I've got the face for radio as well.
And he said they used to do a video portion of it.
Yeah, we started after the first year or two. We thought we'd want to do the video portion of it, and we tried, and so time consuming with me trying to do it all and everything. So
And run the county.
Yeah. So it things got crazy, so we stopped. But this is great.
Yes,
really
we're
nice
so
to do this.
appreciative to Willow Window for building this state-of-the-art television and radio recording studio.
Absolutely.
And we all get to play around in it now. So
Have a good time.
yes, but we wanted to chat with Randy a little bit because he does have a common thread with the magazine because he was our cover model for our 2023 class of most influential people, our winter 2023 edition, the black and white edition. And of course, he is our county mayor. So we kind of want to dive in and talk about, what's going on in the county. I wanted to ask, what is one of the biggest questions that you get from residents?
When is Target, Home Depot, Costco, you name it, Demos, they each one have their own favorite restaurant or retail that they want to know, and everybody wants to know when are they coming or when are you going to get them here.
Okay.
And most of that stuff you can't talk about because we start looking at projects. They want us to sign an NDA or it's they're really secretive about it, even to the point that if one of us mentions it, a lot of times those companies they'll back out because they don't want their competition to know where they're going to next. And so that's probably the biggest one I get asked is, and it's unbelievable. I make a list. I keep a list of all the places that the people say they want and to see how many more people, will say the same thing. And it's amazing at the answers that you get.
But they don't want their tax dollars.
No, nobody wants their taxes. Nobody. Thank goodness the mayor doesn't have the authority to raise taxes, and a lot of people don't understand that. But the county commissioners, 24 county commissioners, are the only ones that can raise the property taxes. That's by state law. One of their prime things is they set a budget each year and they set the property tax rate, and so I can push that off on them and say, sorry, that's not my job, but somebody else's.
It's nice to have a buffer.
Yeah,
It
if
is.
anybody asks me about the fairgrounds, I just tell them that I've got the insider information. I tell them that you've approved that they're going to do 24 Dollar Generals, and they're all going to face out, and there's going to be a courtyard in the middle, and there's going to be a Family Dollar right there in the middle.
How'd you know? You're not supposed to be saying that, though, Andrew.
Cut this.
If anything is profitable and is proven to be profitable, it's Dollar
It
General.
has to be.
Has to be because they just keep opening everywhere.
I think if you dropped into Papua New Guinea, you could walk a mile and there'd be a Dollar General.
Be a Dollar
somewhere.
General.
Yeah, somewhere.
Well, so I wanted to ask some other off-the-wall things that you probably don't get asked all the time. So rumor has it that you have a hobby that a lot of people don't know about.
Andrew, you've been talking.
Yes, a hobby that involves my life. So we
Yes.
hear you're a piano player.
Oh, just a church piano player, not very good,
Hey,
but
that's a
just
big
playing small
responsibility and a
church.
high leverage position to be in. Everybody's dependent on you.
Well, and you know as well, if you're the musician at a church, you're the only person that can't miss.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else can miss. They can go on vacation. They do their own things. But you miss, oh, no, the world's coming to an end. So, I played at a small church where I attend. And I've been at that church since I moved to Cookeville to go to Tech years ago. And I was born and raised on a big farm in Macon County and very rural. And so we went to a small church, and I just, nothing against the big churches, just love the small churches. And so I was hunting for a small church and found this one. And so the piano player left, moved out of town, and they asked me, and I took piano lessons back when I was a kid in school and gave it up, didn't like it, then picked it back up when I came to Tech after in college for a couple of years and thought, I might want to do this again. And the reason I quit before was because back then the piano teachers, you played those Schwartz books, that songs you never heard of. Oh, yeah, it just, and I just didn't like it. And so I tried to find a teacher that would allow me to play what I wanted to play. Yeah. Wanted to play a little rock and roll, wanted to play some gospel. And she said, I don't care what you play, Randy. I just want to teach you how to play. And I thought, oh, this is great, And so I took lessons for 3 or 4 more years. And then it came up at church then. They didn't have anybody, couldn't find anyone. It's hard to find piano players for small churches. And so I said, well, I'll try. And I have to say, the good Lord blessed me in a way that I just couldn't believe that he took the knowledge that I had and then just added to it. And so I've been doing that for years now at my church. Don't play anything else. People ask me to play at other places. I don't do anything but church.
So you can read music, and that's how you...
I can read music, and I play a little bit of both. I'm not really good at playing by ear like Andrew is, but I can do it enough if somebody's trying to sing a song and I can try to usually pick up what key they're in and be able to play. But I've got the church brought me a nice piano, okay?
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, I got a big Baby Grand Yamaha electronic.
Oh, yeah.
All I got to do to change keys is push a button.
Oh, yeah.
I play the same key, and it changes it for me, and so I'm just... I'm a.
You're an old pro.
I'm a well.
And how many years you been doing it?
Oh, I've been going to that same church for about 42 or 3 years.
And can you shout out the church in case anybody wants to come see you play piano?
Sure. We'd love to have you, Scott Avenue Baptist Church, right here in town, over on Scott Avenue, and just God's never led me to go anywhere else. I've just
that's amazing.
Been there, and my wife and I, and daughter and granddaughter, the whole family, we all go there.
That's incredible.
Mayor and pianist.
Mayor and pianist. A lot of people don't know that, so we cut that out. Okay.
That's something people need to know. It makes you so relatable.
It's fun. I enjoy it. We have a little small choir. We have a nice song director. He's really good, and a couple of guitar players. Not as good as you, Andrew, but they're pretty good. And so it's just a little small band, but we enjoy it, and it's all about praising God. So.
And do you have rehearsals that you have to go through the week?
Oh no.
No, you just go and.
Oh, you got to mess up on Sunday just like you would in.
I wanted to chat about your experience working with the magazine because you were featured on the cover, and Andrew got to interview you.
Yeah.
And tell his
True
story.
pleasure.
I'll never forget what he said when he walked in my office to interview me. Do you remember?
Tell me again. I'm excited to hear this.
You sat down and you said, "Don't worry about this, Randy. I already know what I'm going to write about you. Let's just talk for a while."
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Oh, that was such a fun interview, and that was the first time that you and I had really got to sit and chat.
It was.
And a lot of commonalities in our life. Big Vols fans, both of us, and just. I don't know. I think we both just really love this community and love the people here. And it's just been I think that's been one of the biggest treats of doing this magazine for me is getting to meet amazing people like you and call them friends and, learn how many incredible people we have within this community that are great leaders and sweethearts. And it's just, you're just a good human being. I don't know how anybody could not like Randy Porter, but getting to meet these phenomenal people has just been such a huge gift to my life, and you're chief among them.
Well, thank you. That's very nice. You were a blessing to talk to, and we had a great time. And he's a great writer, and
yes. But you have a fascinating story to tell. You have been the mayor for 11 years now.
Started in 2014. Yeah,
2014.
11th year. Yeah,
and you went through all of the tornado in 2020, and then right after that, COVID. And then you had to go live morning and night from where were you guys going live from?
Emergency Operations Center.
Okay, your old stomping
The old
grounds.
911 center and EMS facility that I worked at for years, and actually was over the building project that built it. And
How many years did you work there? You were
I was the director of EMS and 911 for 30 years. I actually worked a little longer than that. It's about 3 years before I got promoted, so I was about 33 years
Wow.
at that, and never thought I'd do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And then after you've been in something so long, especially in that job, it was amazing because you were able to help people every day.
Mm-hmm.
Never the same thing twice. Every call was always different, and that was the reason I got into it. And after so much pain and death and injury, you see so much. I was the coroner too, worked most of the death calls for the county, and you see so much that I got to a point that just felt like that God was leading me to something else, and that you could only do so much. And I felt like it was time for a new blood to come in there. And then the mayor thing come up, and a lot of folks started talking to me about running for mayor, and I did and was successful. And now here, 10, going on 11 years later.
Going on 30.
The most surprising thing to me is that you can come through that amount of trauma and retain the warmth that you've retained. Like that's
a gift.
Oh man,
It's a
that's
gift, Andrew. It is. Out of everything, the very first call that I worked as a wasn't even a paramedic then. I was riding with two of the paramedics, and we worked a automobile accident down on Highway 70, just below the Baxter Crossroads, and there was a group of kids that had left the basketball game at Upperman, and they were headed home, and there was a man and woman. We don't know why, but we think she might have been sick, and he was on the way to the hospital with her, but they hit head on. And that was the first call I worked. There was 5 killed in that wreck, and it was just an unbelievable scene to be at. And I'd never seen anything any worse than that, though. So I got it out of the way.
Oh my gosh.
And but it's a gift. I never had a call bother me that I couldn't put it beside when I got home and leave it in the truck.
Wow.
And that's a gift after all those years.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
yeah. It's weird. I mean, I have a few friends that are firefighters, EMS, and it's weird how certain people are wired to run toward the problem.
Yes.
And I that's not me. I'm so worried and about everybody and how they're feeling and how everyone's doing okay. It's so foreign to me for my friends that are military or EMS or firemen that are just like, yeah, there's a problem, I'll run directly at it as fast as I can.
But everybody's got a gift, Andrew. And yours is music and writing and all these things. Chelsea's is media and all the things she does. I think everybody has a gift. We just have to figure out what that gift is. And for me, it was that. And
The way that you're able to separate those and not let it stick with you is definitely, and it prepared you for the tornadoes and the COVID.
I think God prepares us for all these things as we go down in our life, and for sure, He was preparing me for that tornado. Worst thing that we had seen, but we had just, when I came into office in 2014, immediately in February of 2015, we had that major ice storm in Monterey.
I was living in Monterey doing insurance up there.
And it was terrible, but nobody got killed, nobody hurt bad, and that was preparing us for that tornado because we learned so much by what we did there. And so then that tornado hit. Worst time, 19 lives. The thing about the tornado is that it had a beginning and an end. We knew, we had practiced, we had drilled, we knew what we were going to do with the tornado. Great group of folks that I work with at emergency management and EMS and 911, law enforcement, you just keep naming them. And so they all come together. We all did a great job. With COVID, 1 week after the tornado, my health department director calls me and says, Randy, I need to talk to you. And I said, well, I'm really busy with the tornado. She said, I got to talk to you. And I thought, this is bad. She come to me and says, we got our first case of COVID. So we immediately went from dealing with a tornado to dealing with a tornado and COVID.
Right.
And there's some people that absolutely lost their minds during COVID. You had them in all different directions. You had a group over here that they wanted everything shut down. They wanted mask mandates. They wanted vaccine mandates. They wanted all this stuff. You had these people over here that didn't want anything. They didn't believe that it was actually true or was happening, and you had everybody else in the middle. And that was the toughest part of my life, was going through that. And you're right, we were doing updates daily, for months after that. And
It doesn't feel like you guys slept much.
it was tough. That was the toughest part of my life. That was the worst year and a half, I guess, of my life as far as being in public
I
office.
totally understand that. I was living in Knoxville at the time and playing shows here, and I lived in two separate realities. I lived in a reality to where like I wouldn't see a face for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and I couldn't leave the office room I was in my warehouse where we worked, where our video company was at. I couldn't go into the hallway without my mask on. Then I would come back to play a show, and there'd be like 200 people. It'd be a completely different thing, and it was just it really felt like I was in two different realities, and it caused so much anxiety. It was one of the most anxious periods of my life, and I can't even imagine I wasn't having to make like policy decisions. We went and filmed. There's Halloran Hill in Knoxville. Great like radio personality and just a really brilliant guy. But we went and filmed one of his like television spots at the governor's mansion when Bill Lee was governor at the time, and it was about his wife passing away and all the things that had happened there. It had nothing to do with politics at all. But he was getting briefed constantly, and he was like, we're just like ingesting this information and processing it and trying to like, it changes daily and hourly. And I can't imagine what it's like to have all these, tens of thousands of people expecting you to make a decision, and then from every different angle bringing biases and heavy emotions and fears and anxieties to the table. That had to be a horrible time.
It was, and the problem is all the things that I knew from my medical background. You had the federal government and folks were trying to tell me that what I knew wasn't correct. Hey, those paper face masks that they were trying to get us to wear, we didn't wear those on the ambulances to keep from trying to get something that the patient had, because they don't work. It was to try to keep our saliva and stuff from getting into an open wound on a patient. So they're trying to tell us that these face masks are the KN95s and the N95s. Absolutely, that's what the medical folks wear if they're trying to keep from getting something. But all those paper masks and cloth masks we wore, they might have done a little good, but not much. They were trying to tell us if me and you stood 6 feet apart, that was going to keep us from. Yeah, that just doesn't make medical sense either. Now we're finding out years later that, wow, a lot of that stuff wasn't true, but you had all these different opinions coming from all these different people, and you didn't know what to believe.
You had to manage hysteria.
Trying to manage hysteria and stay calm.
An anxious time for everybody.
And some of those things, I honestly believe, if a person felt comfortable wearing a mask and that made them feel better, wear it. Yeah. I just didn't ever believe in forcing someone to do that, or forcing someone to, to take that vaccine or anything. So I never did any mandates that forced anything. I let that be the choice of the people as to what you wanted to do. And a lot of the decisions that we didn't get to make many of them on the county level. Most of them were made on the state level or the federal level, but we tried to be sensible about it.
Having to navigate those two things back to back had to just be so
tough 2 years.
So hard.
And how did your family help with that? Because I know you
have a
wife and a daughter and a grandchild.
Yeah, they were my backbone. I always tried to leave everything in the truck, because I had lived whatever it was, the emergency that had happened that day or the emergencies, and I had lived those, so I didn't want to go back and relive them again with them, because they didn't need to hear all that stuff. But they were my sounding board and my backbone. And the funniest thing is, somebody can say something bad about me. I'm okay with that. That's part of being in public office. I can live with that. That's a different story when it's your wife or your daughter, your family, because they can't take it. They're ready to jump back and
defend you.
Yeah, defend me. And of course, I'm the kind of same way about them. Talk about me, but don't talk about my family. But we'd go home and talk about that, and they'd get upset because so and so said this bad thing about me or wanted this or that. And I said, you just can't. These people are scared. They're afraid. It's something we had never dealt with, so we just had to. We had to walk through it. We did. And we turned out okay on the other side, and we're moving on.
And I feel like during that time is when you and Ricky Shelton, as social media figueries of Cookeville, really blew up. It
was crazy. It was crazy. I'll never forget when Ricky and I got elected into office, him the Cookeville mayor and me the county mayor at the same time. This was the election was probably, I don't remember if it was on a Tuesday or Thursday, but the next week he called me and said, Randy, let's set us up a Facebook page and Instagram and stuff so we can put out stuff to the people. And I said, no. I said, I'm not into the social media much or anything. I said, I had to do it for the campaign, but oh no, come on, it'll be great. He said, we better put out stuff. And I thought, well, okay. Never dreamed that it would turn out like it has. I mean, he's got a lot more than I do, but I mean, I got like 52,000 followers on that Facebook page, and it's a way to get the message out to a lot of people, in a hurry about something, and it's turned out to be a really good thing. But you're right. During COVID and the tornado, we were doing those live updates and putting out all that stuff, and it really just blew. It was unbelievable where it came to.
It's a double-edged sword for sure.
It's a blessing and a curse.
I'll tell you what I see. To me, one of the best parts of your page is I think about elderly and people that are, particularly the crossover of elderly and shut in, that are able to see these vintage photos that you're finding and putting. I mean, like I grew up in Monterey, and you've shared a ton of stuff, where I've heard my grandpa has Alzheimer's now, and I've spent my entire life him telling me these stories about growing up in Monterey and what the police chief was like. And, then I'll see you post a picture that's got Mathis, the police chief that I've heard my grandpa talk about, or, and that, to me, that nostalgia that your page like injects into the community is I think it's a really beautiful thing. So I think it's cool that it's built up, if only for that reason, not to mention all the others.
I started that when the county had its 175th anniversary as a county.
When was that?
That was back in 2016, I guess. Okay. And so we were, I had these historical photos that I knew about that one of the local photographers here had taken years ago. And so I talked to the family about getting access to those. And that was amazing. And then it turned into access to the old Dispatch newspaper photos. And then it was the Herald Citizen photos. And everybody was so great. So was able to have those and started spending. I had a lot of downtime during COVID that we couldn't do anything or go anywhere. So I'm going through those photos and picking out ones that we want to do and start doing that. And that's how I got into it. And it has really turned into an amazing thing. I tell folks sometimes I can announce 500 new jobs that's coming to Putnam County, and historical photo of Cookeville in 1968 of
400
this.
likes.
Oh, it's just everybody goes crazy.
And how often do you do those? Just on the date where it is an anniversary?
Just sporadically. So I've been doing them where I was trying to put out 2 or 3 a week of historical photos, and it's kind of dies down during the holidays. People aren't as interested, but now I'll get back started again and put out a couple, 3 a week so folks can see.
I've learned it's Philip Gibbons for me. That's a sweet spot. I can put video after video after video, and it doesn't matter, and it'll get a response, and then I'll say like, "Happy birthday, Philip Gibbons," with a picture of his face, and it's like blows up. I'm like, I just need you to bail my page.
I tell you, the other thing that gets a lot of reach is. I did one of the Christmas tree in the snow.
Oh, yes.
We left our Christmas tree up at the courthouse because it had been so cold, and didn't want the guys that are trying to take all that stuff down. And we got to bring a crane in and take it out. Yeah. So we left it up. And so I took a picture of it with the snow, and it got quite a bit. And folks started asking, said, "Turn the lights on, Randy, so we can get a picture with the lights on." Well, I did. Got 60-something thousand views.
Wow.
Of that one photo. And so you just never know what's going to happen on social media. You never know.
Well, one more question about your job as the county mayor. So what is the biggest project you're working on right now that you can share?
Yeah, probably when it comes to county projects is the new fairgrounds. We just got the new convention center finished, starting to book events for it. We're getting ready to start construction on the new expo center, which will be the large 60,000 square foot building, probably late spring, early summer. Then there's the Midway and the arenas, and we're looking at trying to do a covered arena and a barn, have livestock shows, and then trying to get a hotel that will come and be right there on the property.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. The biggest project that I think that we got going. The one that's probably been the most popular with people has been the grant that we got with Twin Lakes Telephone to bring broadband internet to the whole county.
Right.
A lot of folks didn't have high-speed internet, and so we got a state grant and did that. And then 2 water projects where we're bringing water to areas of the counties that don't have access to public water. Fairgrounds the biggest. These others probably the most popular.
And those take time.
Oh, they
too.
take time. Yeah, they've been working on the fairgrounds for several years now, and those water projects have been going on for a couple of years now, but about to see them finished.
That's awesome.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's doing good things for the county. That's what
exciting.
this job's all about.
Yeah.
exciting.
Well, Randy, thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything else you want to cover?
I just want to say congratulations on the magazine, the new show.
Thank you.
Both of y'all are a blessing to our community, and in each in different ways. And
Well, we couldn't do it without the support of people like you.
Absolutely.
Getting behind us and helping us spread the word.
well, I am very proud of both of you and wish you the best. And thanks for having me on.
Thanks so much. And one more thing, in case anybody wants to see, we brought our giant Randy corner cover. And if we ever have an office, we will hang this up proudly. Right there. Thank you, Randy.
My mom is proud. Thank you.
Yes, you should put it above her mantle. She would love it. Thank you so much, Randy.
Thanks, Randy.
You guys.
All right.